So I welcome you once again, and those who are watching from YouTube, you're also most welcome to this live lesson. We are going to talk about expressions of purpose this morning, and expressions of purpose, like the name suggests, they tell us the reason or they express reason why something is done. And I am going to share my screen so that we already start from what we have to cover. These are not too many things. They are quite few and a little bit more clear. We shouldn't take a lot of time on them, surely. So expressions of purpose include so that, in order to, in order that, in case, and for fear of. Like we know there are other conjunctions that express purpose or reason, like because I went there because I wanted to do ABC, but we are going to use these ones for the sake of our lesson today. And we are beginning with so that. When we use so that, it is usually followed by would or could in the past, then will or can in the present. And we have some examples here. I typed it so that you would or you could not recognize my handwriting. This is a past tense sentence, and we have a present tense sentence here. I do everything he tells me so that I will remain in his good books, or I can remain in his good books. So this is a present simple tense sentence. And because it is in the present simple tense, we use will or can to construct it. Then we have another example. The students mark all their property so that it will or it cannot be stolen or used by their friends. Sometimes, that happens, especially if you're in a big society. Similar in meaning is so as to. Of course, so as to is shorter than so that. The both is redundant there, don't mind it. For example, I ran faster than the rest so that I can or I could win the race. That is in the past tense. I ran faster than the rest so as to win the race. So as to win the race summarizes so as to, at the same time summarizes so that. So when we use so that, it becomes shorter. Then the negative of all this is so as not to. For example, we carried our umbrella so as not to be beaten by rain. So that is how we use so as to in the present, in the past, and also in the negative. So the other is in case. In case also expresses the idea of preparing for something that may happen, and it is followed by a present or a past tense, depending on the general sense of the sentence, and it is never followed by future. You cannot use will or shall. And we have our examples. I will carry an umbrella in case it rains. You don't say I will carry an umbrella in case it will rain. You have to say I carry an umbrella in case it rains. Then I carried an umbrella in case it rained. Then we can also use should with in case. For example, I will carry an umbrella in case it should rain. So instead of saying in case it rains, we add should and we use it with any tense, whether it is present or past. I have insured my house in case it should catch fire or in case it catches fire. This can be also used in the past. For example, I insured my house in case it should catch fire. We are on this one. This is a past tense sentence. You cannot know it is past tense unless you're seeing where it is used. So that is why it is the same. But if they ask you to change a sentence, for example, it is already in the past tense, then you can use I insured my house in case it should catch fire or in case it caught fire. Should with in case does not necessarily show the particular tense where it is being used. It uses the same tense at once. Maybe I should have told you as we are beginning. If you have questions, please keep them or put them in the chat or write them somewhere in your book. At the end, I will answer all the questions at once. I want to go through everything, then I receive the questions and the comments at the end of the whole lesson. Then we have in case, if, or in case of. How similar are these or how different are they? Let's go to the first sentence. I will buy more drinks in case many visitors come. This is the sentence. This is what we have been looking at, the kind of sentence we have been looking at. The sentence means I am preparing. If the visitors come, the drinks will be there. If they don't come, I will return the drinks to the shop maybe. But the reason why I'm buying the drinks is because of the many visitors that might come. But if we used just if, and our sentence became, I will buy more drinks if the visitors come. This would mean the only condition, I will not buy the drinks. Only if they come will I buy the drinks. And it is similar to this other one. In case many visitors come, I will buy more drinks. In other words, if they don't come, I will not buy the drinks. So you don't confuse the two different uses of in case. This one is in case of, the other one that we have been using is just in case. In case of also means if, like if the visitors come, I will buy. In case the visitors come, I will buy. But this one, which is an expression of purpose, for me, I am preparing. So I am going to buy the drink just in case I have many visitors. Even if there are few, the drinks will already be there. So my buying them does not depend on the visitors. I hope that is clear. If it is not, prepare your question and ask it at the end of the lesson. So we have in order that. In order that works in the same way as so that, but is less common, especially in speech because it is too long. And it is followed by should or might in the past, then should, shall, and may in the present tense. We have two examples. One is children were immunized in order that they should or they might not die at a very young age. And then this is in the present simple tense. This should have been in order that they may not die at a very young age. So the one I'm saying is this one. This one should be may because it is in the present tense. So we use this one here. So children are immunized in order that they may not die at a very young age. You can already hear the way it sounds. You know that that isn't how you would speak in everyday language. The sentence is very long. We would instead shorten it. And in most cases, we shorten these sentences. If you wanted to shorten this sentence, for example, and we don't want to use in order that, what would we use? Children are immunized in order that they shall not die at a very young age. Under normal circumstances, how would you say it? How would you tell it to your brother, for example, or your sister?
Children are immunized not to die at a very young age.
Okay, good trial. Use in order in that sentence.
Children are immunized in order not to die at a very young age.
Very good. So you can mute again. Great. So we say children are immunized in order not to die. So in order that can be shortened to in order to in the positive, and in order not to in the negative. That is how short you make it if you want to use it. Okay, so this is the summary of what you just said. In order to can also be used in the same way we used in order that, but this time for it is shorter. It is shorter than in order that. For example, look at this sentence. I polished my shoes in order to look smart, instead of using in order that I should look smart. Then we say we learn political science in order to prepare for future political leadership. And like you gave us in your first sentence, you actually even left out in order, and that is why I accepted the sentence. You only shortened it to 2, which is what we say in everyday English and which is also grammatically correct. So we are saying, I polished my shoes to look smart, as simple as that. But sometimes you're asked to use in order to, or to use in order that, and that is why we actually look at them. Then another one is, we learn political science to prepare for future political leadership. So that's the reason, that's the purpose. You remember we are using this to express purpose. So we go to for fear of. For fear of, we are saying, is followed by ing, both in the past and the present tense. For example, he drives carefully for fear of causing an accident. We are using ing here, causing. He did all the work for fear of failing the weekend test. This is past tense, but the past tense does not affect our ing later on in the sentence. So that is how we use our expressions of purpose. And what I want us to do before we go into the exercise and before you ask questions, I want each one of you to give me a sentence of their own using any of the expressions, any of the phrases we used. For fear of, so that, in order that, so as, and in case. Just pick one of them and give me one sentence. Denise, give us a sentence using any of your choice. I'm going to pick on each one of you and then we continue.
Maria did the house chores for fear of being punished.
Very good. And Xavier raised a hand. So next we are going to Xavier.
I attended a Zoom lesson so as to pass.
Very good. Thank you, Xavier. Who is next? Lynn, give us your sentence.
She did the work for fear of being punished.
Very good. And Francisca, you are the next. I see your hand raised.
I went to the market in order to buy vegetables.
Very good. When you have brought them home, send me some because I love vegetables.
Okay.
Okay. Those are a good sample of hands. Now that tells me you have understood. Treasure also wanted to tell us an answer, I think, before I leave that one.
I did my work in carefree in order to pass.
Great. And you will pass. Just continue doing it carefully. So we are going to conclude our lesson. I'm going to give you some work to do. But the other time I received work from just a handful of you. Those who attended the lesson were very many. Those who watched the lesson were very many on YouTube. But I just saw a few pieces of work sent to my inbox. So before I give you the work, I want to receive any question that could be there. Do you have any questions on anything that was unclear? Yes, go ahead, Xavier, and ask.
So while we're talking about fear of, it sounds like it is a negative.
Good question. So she asks a good question that for fear of sounds negative. He drives carefully for fear of causing an accident. If we wanted to use the normal way we express purpose in everyday conversation, usually we use because. Our sentence would of course be, he drives carefully because he does not want to cause an accident. So for fear of has that intention of something you're preparing for to either happen or not to happen. He did all the homework for fear of failing the weekend test. So he doesn't want to fail. He's preparing not to fail. He did the homework so that he could not fail the weekend test, or because he did not want to fail the weekend test. Is that clear?
Yes.
So if there isn't any other question, I'm going to share again and then I'll leave your work with you. I'm giving you just few numbers because I know Christmas is just next door. and when Christmas has almost come. So that is the exercise that you are going to do. There are only 4 numbers. One is the politician did not want to be considered incompetent. Therefore, he joined the locals in building a bridge, and we are using so that in the first one. Then a hospital is built in every sub-county. They want all the people to access health facilities. So you join as one and you use in order that. And then lastly, no, the third one, my mother puts a reminder in her phone since she may forget the appointment, and we are using in case. She stapled the papers twice so that some may not be lost. And you use Kofia Rob. So those are just 4 numbers. You can do them even now, or you can take a screenshot of whatever gadget you're using, whether you're using a laptop or a computer, or whether you're using a phone, and then you write them clearly in your book. That is all for now. Do I have any particular questions you want to ask or comments before we close the year? So this information still remains on my YouTube channel where I teach English language from. You will find it there. And last time, the lesson for last time, I forgot and I recorded it on my other channel, not the one for English. My other YouTube channel, which is Only Fortunate Aganyayo Rukundo. The other one, which I use for my English lessons, is English with Fortunate. But last week's lesson was on another YouTube channel that I use for other things. So when you go on that other one, you might not find it there, but then you look it up. But in the group, I send it again. I wish you a good day and a wonderful weekend, and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You too.
You too, teacher.
Likewise, teacher.